and just welcome you all tonight to the call. First of all, I want to say thank you for those of you who have been giving feedback and suggestions on team calls. We really appreciate it. I feel a lot more energized about tonight's call than I have in a few weeks because you guys listened when we asked for direction and ideas and what you need to hear from. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. I also wanted to do a little bit of recognition. I have one person I want to shout out real quick, and it doesn't mean that the rest of you aren't doing amazing, but just one person who's been on my heart a lot, Miss Joey. I am so proud of you. I know that you've been working so hard and you did not give in after a couple months that seemed hard and slow. You are killing it this month, and I just wanted to recognize that on tonight's call. So major props. And if anybody else has anything that they want to recognize, I just want to open it up real quick for that. So speak up.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead. Whoever was talking.
Oh, I just was saying thank you.
You're welcome.
Amy Davis is not on this call, but she will be announced as Emerald on Thursday,
Yay.
which is really exciting.
So exciting.
And she almost hit, she's 2 points away from hitting Success Club, and this is like her first month really giving it. Hi, Ben. Yeah, hi. Your dad's right there, sweetie pie. So I just want to give her a shout out. And then I just want to give, I'm sure there are more of these partnerships going, but I just want to give Cece and Andrea a shout out. I know they've been, collaborating and really checking in with their accountability to one another. Whether it's I watched this call today and I sent this many invites on this platform, and I feel like when you treat your business like a business and you treat your business like it deserves, all of a sudden you're going to see the growth that come. I just want to, listening to Andrea talk about it today, you can feel the excitement because way back when I really decided to go for this business, not to like bring up the past, but probably the best part was really locking arms with someone and just kind of running full steam ahead, and really just having that person to be like, hey, what do you think of this post? Does this suck, or is this good, or should I include anything else, or is there something else you think I should write? I feel like that's really when you start to have fun, because you have someone to just really be like, this is hard today, and I'm discouraged, and I'm not where I want to be in the month, and I want to hit Success Club, but it's not happening. And then like all of a sudden the two of you go, what if we do this, and then this, and then blah, 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 blah. So I just want to encourage you guys to, if you, Carter, please go inside. Thank you. Huts, can you follow Carter, please? Thank you. I just want to encourage you, if you really want to run with this business and take it to the next level, find someone who's like-minded like you. And if you're, you don't know who that is, and it seems weird to be like, hey, Afton, I really like your style. I love to partner up. If that's weird, then, and tell us, like, we will help you. We'll play matchmaker, because we know each of you so well that we could say, yeah, like, why don't you and so-and-so kind of, spend a little time talking or whatever. And I really think you guys would work really well together. And so I just want to encourage you guys to really pay attention. And if you really want to run, go that route, because it really will change your world and this business. I can tell you that from experience, and because it's what we see time and time again. And then the last thing, I just wanted to give Sarah Esslinger a shout out. She's getting so close to Diamond, as well as Courtney and Andrea. They are all like 3 coaches, 4-ish coaches away from getting there. And I just feel like, it's one of those, one goes and then it just is like a domino effect, and we're all hanging out in, the Diamond Retreat in January. And so please don't think that if you're not where you want to be today, it means that you aren't going to get there and give up on the year. We have so much time left and so much good things to do. So that is all I wanted to say tonight, and I am passing on the floor to Andy to learn time management.
And with that, I just had one person ask for the link, so let me send that on over real quick. Or maybe somebody in my Elite Squad group. If anybody else sees that thread from Emily, could you grab the link and send it to her? That would be really helpful.
Yeah, I got it.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, so on the note of the retreat, before I talk time management, just to reiterate a little bit about that, because it's coming up and things are being planned down to the nitty gritty. So we're getting really excited. So the whole deal with that is you need to lock it in by November 20th. So we've got plenty of time, even if you think about this, guys. This excites me when I think about it this way. Even if when you sign somebody up this week, let's say you find your next business building coach this week, you and her could go on this retreat together, because there's plenty of time between now and November 20th. And you need to be diamond by November 20th. Like, wake up that morning as a diamond coach. It's a Thursday. And you need to hold it for 6 weeks through the year, at least. I mean, obviously the goal is to hold it and grow and not stay there and not go backwards. But it's going to be really exciting. And then the actual weekend is January 17th through 20th. It's MLK weekend, and it's going to be a blast. So, okay, we're talking all about time management, and this topic is something that I kind of geek out on, because I have always worked this business in the cracks of my day. I mean, there's not a single person on our team who this is all that they do. Every single person on our team started in the same place and either has kids, a job, or both. Like, nobody just sits around and gets to do Beachbody all day long. So we all need to work on our time management. And I'm not perfect at it, but it is something that I've had to change and tweak so many times in this business that I do feel like I have a good grasp on adapting to change and adapting to changing schedules. So I have 7 time management tips for you. And this is also going to walk you through a little bit of a power hour, because of course that needs to be a priority. And that helps you zero in on the most important thing in your day as a coach. So just there. Sorry, lots of background noise. So it's especially fitting on a day like today, and an exact reason why I choose right now in my life, because 4 kids, you never know what you're going to get in the day, to get up at 4:30 is my goal every day, and get done the most important things on the Success Club tracker that need to get done every day to move my business forward. Because I know, perfect example, case in point, by 5:30, the wheels were kind of coming off the bus over here, and I got nothing else done. I snuck in a post. I literally went back and stole an old post from myself of a recipe and threw that up around noontime, because I had nothing up. I didn't do my workout, and I just wrote a post right now about kind of how my day was, because I always show up on social media, and I just did a whole rant in my stories to kind of talk about it, because one thing I never do is not show up. So even if you have a wonky day, I love that you can use social media to just be you and be normal. And was it what I had planned for tonight? No, because I'm going to get to that. I had a whole plan on what I was going to do tonight, but my day kind of changed the course of that, and that's okay. So the very first thing, tip number 1, is prioritize. You need to prioritize this list, you guys, because there's things on here. The goal is to do all of these things every day. But if you have a day where you're like, you know what, I just know that I'm not going to be able to get every single box checked, these are the highlights you need to hit. And I think you probably know what I'm going to say. Number 1, invite. If it's the only thing you're going to get done in a day, I promise you, if you are consistent in your inviting, that's something that's going to move your business forward on a day-to-day basis. There's things on this list that are super important also, but if you're not as consistent with them, you're not going to see as much of a setback as you will if you're not consistent with your invites. Does that make sense? So that to me is like number 1. After I read my Devo in the morning, that is the very first thing I do. I have my invite goal right now. It's 50 people a day, Monday through Friday. Saturdays and Sundays, I'm following up with 50 people a day. Whatever your invite goal is. And if you're a new coach, I don't say those high numbers to scare you. That's just where I'm at in my business 5 years in. And just on that note, I'll add one more thing to inviting. I think as a new coach who's really wanting to do this, I think 15-ish invites a day is a really solid place to start. the number 2 thing that I prioritize in my day is expanding my network, because how am I going to have 50 people a day to invite? How are you going to have 15 people a day to invite if you're not actively expanding your network every day? That needs to be a priority. I had this specific question asked to me just a couple weeks ago. So thank you to the person who asked, but specifically saying, how do you prioritize the most important things? Because we have our 4 vital behaviors that are all very important, and they all work together to help your business move. But where do you need to focus that time and attention? Invite and expanding. And then the third thing that I think is super important is being in those challenge groups. Because when you bring people into those challenge groups, if you're not pouring into them, showing up for them, doing those things, then you could be what could happen down the road is you could be missing out on referrals if you're looking at it from a business standpoint. But more importantly, you promised them something. So you need to show up for them. So those are my top 3 things of importance. So for example, on a day like today that got cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I already did my invites at 4:30, thank goodness. And I already expanded my network this morning. And tonight I'm going to take some time to check into my challenge groups. And the other stuff today didn't happen. I actually didn't do my workout today, which drives me nuts because it's Tuesday. How do you not work out on a Tuesday? It's been bugging me all day long. But I already have a plan for how I'm going to talk about that on social media, which is another thing I want you to always be thinking about. Another top priority. When you have a day that isn't picture perfect, because they're just not all the time, hardly ever, right? How are you going to make that positive? How are you going to be a positive influence on your social media? Because this is your platform and your brand to say, hey, this didn't happen, but you know what? It's okay. So I already have it planned out in my head what I'm going to say tomorrow. That's my tip number 2. Plan your posts ahead. And I've told you guys before, I don't sit here and write out my posts for a week. I know some people are really good at that. They have a whole marketing plan, even as far out for a month. You can even buy those, by the way. You can buy like prompts. I'm not telling you to, I'm just giving you a resource in case this is something that would be helpful for you. You can buy prompts for your posts for like an entire month long. They're all over social media. But what I do is I have a plan in my head. I have a daily plan, a weekly plan, and a monthly plan. It's not perfect. The posts are not written, but I know where I'm at in my month in terms of when my groups are starting that tell me what I need to be talking about specifically on my social media. So for example, last Tuesday, I posted a post that I shared in the team page that was probably the most salesy I get call to action, where it was a side-by-side of me, very Halloween-y, and I forget I talked about what you get in a challenge group, basically. I'm probably only going to do that maybe once a month, but guaranteed I'm breadcrumbing the rest of the month. So if you know where you're at in your month, you can have your calendar right out in front of you so you know when you're going to plan those posts so that you're not going, oh shoot, I should probably write a post tonight about my challenge group that starts next week. And then you're like scrambling to make it up. Just jot down on your calendar, I'm going to have a group starting Monday, so back it up a couple weeks. When are you going to specifically have those calls to actions planned out? I promise you that's going to save a lot of time in your mental space when you already have it planned. And then even down to the week, you always want to be looking at your week ahead at what you have coming up. When are you going to be talking about things that are non-Beachbody, fitness, food, coaching related? Because those posts are important too. Those posts help you shine through and show the other sides of you, which we all know are super important. So I even have those planned out in my head as to the extent of, I know that tomorrow night I'm going to a mother-son event with my older kiddos. I'm totally going to snap a photo and post about that tomorrow night. I already know that. So tomorrow evening, tomorrow at nap time, I will write that post out, even though we won't have gone yet, because that's about as far ahead in planning my posts I get. But the nice thing is I'm not going to get to tomorrow night and go, oh shoot, what am I going to post? And then just throw up something. I'm going to have something with meaning, something that obviously is my brand because I'm a mom, whatever. So I'm not only thinking about my posts a month in advance, but a week in advance, and then a day before. I'm always thinking the night before, is there anything I can plan for tomorrow? Let's maybe write up one post right now, or what is going to be my flow in my posts tomorrow, so that that's not something taking up a bunch of my brain space. I'm not trying to sneak in posts in there. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, because I absolutely do, but I try really hard to have that plan. out there for myself. And specifically, I may not plan, I absolutely don't plan all of them out ahead of time, like I keep saying. But I do plan out when those call to actions are going to be, and when are the call to actions to my challenge groups going to be, and when are the ones to coaching going to be. There's a million different ways you can do that, but to keep yourself from feeling like, oh my gosh, all I'm doing is talking about challenge groups and I don't have anything else to say, is to plan it. Be strategic. If it's Wednesday, but you know you already planned on Thursday night, you have a really good idea of what you're going to say about your challenge group, then chill on Wednesday. Talk about other things. You've got a million other things you can talk about, and that's great. When are you going to be talking about coaching? Be strategic with that too. When are you going to add in the tag to our 411 page on Instagram? Or are you planning a sneak peek with somebody else on the team? Or are you planning to show up in the 411 group on Facebook when we're talking about coaching in there? Plan your coaching calls to actions around those times so that, again, you're not scrounging for that. Okay, tip number 3. When you are working through your Success Club tracker, block out time for specific things. It says on here, if you notice, like initiate connections and add followers, 20 minutes. That might be perfect for you, 20 minutes, or maybe you need a little bit more time or a little bit less. But that is one thing in my morning that I've been doing. I can sit there and just keep inviting, like go, 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 go. I just really actually love inviting. I love finding new people, sending them messages. So I have to set a timer for myself. I literally look at the clock and I go, okay, it's 5:15. I'm going to invite till 5:45. Typically, I've gotten my 50 invites in that time. But if I haven't and it gets to 5:45, then I stop. I write down on my little notebook that I always have next to me how many more I need to do later, and I move on to the next thing. Because what one trap you can fall in is, okay, I said I was going to invite 50 people today, and for whatever reason, it's taking longer. Maybe your post the day before where you normally invite from, only had your mom and your grandma like it, so you're not going to invite them. Hopefully they're already on Shakeology. But, there's definitely those days where I'm like, shoot, this is taking me a lot longer. I just don't have the people there to invite. And I get to that time mark and I stop, because there's other things you need to move on to continue to move your business forward. So I stop what I'm doing. I move on to expanding my network, move on to going into my challenge groups and loving on the people in there. I move on to going through my posts from the day before and making sure I commented back on everything. So block out that time and stick with it, because what happens when you are inviting specifically, this is when this happens for me, if I'm specifically looking for more people to invite and it's been that allotted amount of time that I block out for that and I haven't met that number, I will easily waste another, 20, 30, 40 minutes scrolling. Because then you're telling yourself, oh, I'm looking for people to invite. Nope. Before you know it, you're just commenting on the new baby announcement from so-and-so, and oh, she's got a cute shirt on. And now I'm on an ad and I'm looking at area rugs on Wayfair. That's just me lately. So don't do that. So time yourself so that you don't sit there and think, I just worked for 2 hours, when really you just online shopped and probably didn't even really buy anything. That's also me. And wasted all this time. Like when you're working, you're working. And what that does for you time management wise is, whether you have a million other things on your plate in the day or you don't, the rest of your time is yours to do the other things that you need to do or chill, whatever that is. So block out that time and be specific with it. And over time, as you're doing this, if you see that, that 20-minute time slot wasn't enough for you to meet your goal, then adjust it. Be ready to adjust. Number 4, utilize this tracker. I cannot say it enough. I've tracked things so many different ways in this business, and this right now is my tried and true. And the more I keep seeing on the Beachbody Champions page, for those of you new coaches listening to this call or on the call, Beachbody Champions is a group in Facebook, and it's phenomenal. There's always best practices and tips and trainings in there. And one of the number one recurring themes that I'm seeing is these people who are using this tracker are getting amazing results in their business. So use the tracker, check it off. I love that in this business, I can check these things off, whether it took me an hour one day or 2 hours, whatever it took, and know that I did things to move my business forward. I no longer have that feeling, and I had it for a really long time in this, where I feel like there's always more I can be doing, because as a CEO of your own business, a lot of times we can get in that feeling of like there's always more we can be doing, right? Like you're a hamster on a wheel, you're not getting anywhere. But if you know that this is solid and this is working and you trust it and you're consistent in it, then you can check these boxes and you can have your specific invite goal that's specific to you, and how many new friends you're going to make on the internet to expand your market and all of that, and know that this is going to compound over time and lead you to success. That's the way it's been designed. You'll notice at the top, it talks about the National Wake Up Call. Factor that into your week, you guys, because if you don't, you won't ever listen. When my most recent shift in my work schedule, for whatever reason, that got taken out, and I've had such a hard time getting it back in. And just sitting down to prepare for this call, I told myself that is happening. I did listen this week. Just a little plug for the National Wake Up Call. It was Janelle Summers, who is one of the most successful coaches in this company, and what she had to say was great. So if you didn't listen in. Those calls, I promise you, are always full of tips, tangible tips that you can take and apply to your business. Okay, number 5, I've kind of said it in a couple different ways, but make a schedule. And your schedule is going to change, especially if you have small children. At least every 6 months, I'm looking at my schedule and going, is this still working for me? Is it still better if I work first or work out first? What should I do first? And what's the rest of my day going to look like? Who's napping? Is anybody napping? Do I have any nap time to work anymore? Always look at your schedule. And maybe you're like me, where there's even certain days where you're going to end up with more time or less time. What does that look like? And what are you going to do in those time slots? Because if you don't plan it out that way, then that's when things start to slip through the cracks. And that's when it's easy to go, oh, I don't really need to do that today. I don't really need to do that today. And before you know it, it's been 2 weeks and you haven't even looked at your Success Club tracker, let alone invited anybody or done anything. Am I right? It's very easy to slip into those habits. But with consistency and being dedicated to this, to your business, to growing, you will see that can be just as easy to slip into those really good habits of doing these things every day. So what does that look like for you? I want you guys, a little bit of homework tonight. I want you to analyze your work schedule. What does it look like right now? And is it working? If it's not, if you feel like there's more days where you're just not finding the time to do this, then there are the days where you feel like, you know what, I did what I told myself I was going to do today, then adjust your schedule. Maybe you need 30 extra minutes in the morning to get up a little bit earlier. I hate getting up early. I hate it. But every single time I choose to get up and do this, I have a much better day mentally knowing that it's done than the days where I choose to snooze. It's just like getting up and working out in the morning. Same concept. Then when I choose to snooze, and then I basically just lay there and think about what I should be doing, right? So do you need 30 more minutes in the morning? Is that tangible for you? Is there a time in your day where, you're on your lunch break, or like I mentioned, nap time, where you can sneak in 30 minutes? What are you going to do in those 30 minutes? Because if you just tell yourself, okay, when the kids go down to nap or on my lunch break, I'm going to work, then you might end up scrolling. That's just the truth of us working so much on social media. Or sometimes I even find myself just scrolling the challenge group and reading everything and not even commenting. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm wasting so much time. I need to read it and comment, because that's our job, to support those people. Or I go into Tribe and I get lost into Tribe. I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I not making that encouraging comment right now? Because I should just be doing it now, not putting it off till later. So be specific in your blocks of time. Okay, this block of time in the morning, this is when I'm going to invite, and this is when I'm going to write my morning post, or whatever it is. And then on my lunch break or nap time or whatever, the things I'm going to do at this time is I'm going to go to all my posts from the previous day, and I'm going to comment back to everybody who commented, or whatever that looks like for you. Be very specific with that plan, that schedule. Tip number 6 is always have, obviously, I'm going to hold it up one last time. Always have your tracker nearby when you're sitting down to work. and always have a notepad. I got this tip from Miss Kim, the queen of notepads. Always have a notepad, because when I'm going through, and I don't track like you guys know how I track, and if you don't, I'll talk about that another time. But I don't write down people's names and things like that. But a lot of times when I'm working, things will pop in my head like, oh, I need to send the welcome email to so and so. I'll write it down, because if I don't, I'll forget. And if I don't forget and I choose to change gears in that moment, then guess what? That could mean I didn't do 20 invites because my attention was pulled to something else. So therefore I'm not doing what I sat down to do in that time slot that I planned for. So in the morning when I sit down, I go, okay, I'm going to do my daily devotional. Then I kind of lied in the beginning. After I do my devotional, I actually log into my Coach Online office before I start inviting. Every single day, I log into my Coach Online office because I want to know, how is my business doing? That's the barometer for my business. That's like me stepping on the scale for those of us who follow the scale. If you're a 2B person and that's how we look at our business. I want to know what my volume's doing. I want to know who's going inactive, active. I want to know what customer orders are coming through, so I can send them a quick text message and make sure they're all good, make sure they're in a challenge group, whatever it is. So make that a habit. Even if you have 0 challengers and 0 coaches on your team, make it a habit now that after you do your personal development, you're logging into your Coach Online office, so you know exactly the pulse of your business and what's going on. So then I move on to inviting. So if I'm inviting and the thought pops in my head that I need to post it to the info group, because typically that's what it is. I'm like, shoot, I didn't schedule that post again. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing and go and do that, because that's going to take me away from the business building activities that need to get done. But I'm going to write it down so that when I'm done inviting, I'm going to go post in the info group like I said I was going to. I just feel like I read that somewhere, and to me it's been super helpful, because you can distract yourself from so many things, and by the end of your time slot for your power hour, you're out of time, because we're all busy humans, and you haven't really done anything on here because you were like a squirrel. Okay, have that notepad. And then my final tip, number 7. Are you ready? Don't scroll. Don't do it. Do not. Treat scrolling social media as a treat for yourself when you are done doing the things, because I guarantee you it is a rabbit hole of time waste, complete time waste. So don't even start doing it. I couldn't even tell you how many times I've had friends, this is kind of a sad example, but it's true, say to me like, you didn't even comment when I like whatever. And I'm like, because it looks like to outside people that we are on social media all day long. Am I right? But the truth is, I don't scroll social media. So I may be on there a lot, but I don't scroll. So the most, if when I go into Facebook to post into the info group or whatever I'm in, or invite from my stories on Facebook, the first post that pops up, this is just kind of what I started doing in my head. If it's like something I should congratulate or something really sad, like my cat died or something, I'm going to leave a comment, because I feel like I can't not read that and not like say something to that person who happens to be at the top of my news feed. But that's it. I don't it's like I tell my finger, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Go right to what you said you were going to do, because I feel like that is one thing that just is a time killer, especially in this business, running a business on social media. So whatever you got to do to not do that. I heard once a coach say that she always gave herself 15 minutes of free scroll time once she was done with her power hour. So it was like she would look forward to it. She'd get her power hour done, and then she'd scroll for 15 minutes or whatever. Like whatever you got to do that, because I cannot even tell you how many coaches I've checked in with over the years who are just feeling like they're not getting anywhere, and they'll tell me, I'm working this amount of time in the morning, and then at night I do this, and and they're just not getting anywhere. But when I ask them the hard questions, it's one of 2 things that is happening, or both. They're not inviting, and or they're on social media, so they feel like they're like looking for people to invite and looking to expand their network, but really at the end of that allotted time, all they've done is scroll and comment and like on friends' things that is like, that's not going to really do things. And I will do a little caveat to this, when you're focusing on expanding your network, you do have to do some scrolling and looking because you're looking for your people. But that's why we set that timer of like, okay, I'm going to spend 15 minutes expanding my network. So the example I always use on Facebook is you're going to a friend's page who has a lot of mutual friends with you that you're not actually Facebook friends with, and you're sending them friend requests. That's okay if you need to scroll to do that because that's part of it. Or on Instagram, scrolling hashtags that fit your niche. So you're looking for people to expand your network. That kind of scrolling is okay, but just scrolling to scroll isn't helpful for our time management. Okay, any questions? I specifically chose not to go through the whole Success Club tracker because I feel like we've done that pretty recently. We did it in the new coach training just last week sometime. But if you guys have any questions about that, of course, I can talk about that. Or how I do any of the specific items on there, I can talk about it.
And that new app just launched today,
Yes.
which is pretty rad.
I downloaded it. I haven't opened it yet, but does everybody know what she's talking about? She posted it in the team page. A coach created a Success Club app, tracker app.
Tracker app, yeah.
Pull it up. Have you looked at it, Kim?
Just briefly, but it looks pretty. I mean, I feel like for those of you that really like having things digital, it's pretty.
It's literally this in an app with little bubbles to click. That's pretty cool. Very, very cool.
Are you kidding me? Sorry, spiders. Just gotta go. Darn. Live on the valley.
Well, any comments? Doesn't have to be a question.
I would just say I just spent some time this weekend creating Google Forms for to put in Linktree but to start collecting interest for people who like the work or for people who like who want to be on your team or anything. Those are definitely some options. Having those be tangible tools for your business, I feel like are kind of helpful.
Yeah, those are nice because it's like once you create it once, it's done. It's not something you have to do. I mean, when a new program comes out, but Kim, didn't you already make one for the work?
I just made one for the work, yep. And I also made one for joining our team, which, just kind of helpful to have.
If you ever want ideas on that, just go look at other coaches' link trees. You can look at our link trees and see how we set those up.
Yeah. Some people don't want to message you. They think for some reason filling out a form is like a sneaky way or something. So
I also feel like it makes you look a little bit more professional when you say, like fill out this application. Or I know a lot of coaches, when they're in a conversation with somebody, they'll say like, I'm going to send you an application. I don't do that, but you could,
You absolutely could. It makes you feel a little more exclusive. I feel like, oh wow, this girl has an application. I need that. But yeah. Great tips, Andy.
Thank you. So I said to Kimberly today, we need to figure out when, for those of you who are finishing out MM100 with us and then going to start the work, we need to figure out what that date is. We could look that up right now.
We could. That is coming up so fast.
Today was day 57, right? 58?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, 58.
Day 58. So we're done. I think it's like November. Isn't it November, like the first week of November?
What did I do?
Yeah, I think it's like the 6th or something.
It's
Just
like a
like that.
Monday. It's November 25th. It's a Monday. It's technically
November
day
25th?
100. If I counted right.
No,
I think it's before that.
that's like another 60 days.
Because I remember it was before my friend's wedding, which is November 10th, and so I think it was like the 6th or something.
Yeah, it's
I added 10 days.
I think
Today
it
is day 58.
today is 58, which is how many more days? So 32 more days, right? No, 42 more days. No, 30.
26.
This is why we're all accountants. Where's Julie when we need her?
42 more days.
Sorry, November 5th.
November 5th.
So we should start the work on the 11th because we're not going to start it
Right away.
midweek.
No.
And then that way we can spend that week because not everybody's going to finish on day 100. I mean, we're going to have a lot of people finishing way after. But for those who started with us,
Yes.
that gives us the rest of the week to continue to like shout them out because I'm sure they'll be finishing all week long. So November 11th is when, and then that's perfect because
It basically is till the
we
end of the
finish
year.
right before Christmas, the full 6 weeks,
Yep. Which is crazy.
and really cool,
We're going to die through the holidays.
basically.
Literally. I'm actually frightened for this program.
Did you try it? I know
No.
you said you're gonna wait.
Did you?
My thought doing the sample, did anybody else try the sample?
I was gonna do it, but I haven't yet.
I felt like the sample for MM100 was almost harder than the first few. I don't know if anybody else felt that way. I was a little bit more culture shocked with that one. With this one, I think because I am afraid of it, I was like, okay, I can handle that. But like his 2 cardio moves, one of them in particular, I'm like, if there's like an entire cardio day, I'm absolutely going to die. It's going to happen.
That's
to me
great.
then. So I don't know how to gauge it. Because you know how you could tell that like MM100 sample, he was like mentioning what sounded like is probably the name of some of them. You know what I mean? Like that was definitely from a lower day and that was going to be from an upper day. So it's really hard to tell. I felt like it was hard to gauge how hard it's really going to be. I mean, it's going to be hard. And it was only like 32-ish minutes of work, I'd say, because he talked for like 3 minutes at the beginning and then the cool down was kind of long too. So I mean, it was hard, don't get me wrong, but I didn't die. That's all I know at this point.
You didn't die. That's what it feels like. It looks like we're going to die.
And I mean, the whole like pull-up bar thing, he did give a solid, like, you don't have a pull-up bar? I do, but I didn't use it. I liked his modification for that. It wasn't just like, here, put your band around something, a doorknob that's going to like break and smack. That would be me. It was a different move with weights, and I appreciated that. Just saying. Well, girls, anything else before we wrap up? I guess one last little thought on that is if you haven't decided yet what you're going to do, plan it out through the end of the year, what you specifically are going to do. That makes inviting a lot easier. Just having the plan for your personal fitness helps then plan, what are you going to invite to? How are you going to invite to it? What does that look like? What are you talking about on your stories every day? What are you like hyping up?
Agreed. Sorry, didn't mean to yawn. Time management, you know? Gotta manage in the yawns. Sad story.
All right, girls. Well, I will post this recording in the team page after it loads. I swear it takes like all night long.
Do we take a boomerang?
No.
Oh,
Sarah?
sure. Sarah, what do you got for us tonight?
That's too much.
I think we should just do peace signs
I like.
and then boomerang it out.
Okay.
That's all I got. It's my creativity.
Good.
Well, it's got to be small because otherwise it's like, what's going on? So many faces, you know?
Okay, Sarah, you ready? You're taking it because my phone is
Wait. Let me make my screen giant then.
busy.
Full screen. You guys ready? Oh my goodness, there's too many of them. Actually, full screen. We went too crazy. You just keep going. I'm feeling the peace. Everyone in there. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I cut off Paula's head. One more time. Sorry, Paula.
Or
One more
it's
time.
two bunnies.
There we go. Everyone's there. 1, 2, 3. No, you're gonna hate me, Paula. I moved it. Keep going. Keep going. 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's the one.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Great.
And I've got everyone. Raylyn, what's your Instagram? I don't know your Instagram.
RMA North. Our Michael is RMA North. Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right, girls.
Okay.
Well,
Onward. Let's go finish this month with some guts. No guts, no glory, you know? Cool. Jelly bean.
nighty night.
Okay. Goodbye.
I have a question right fast.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I have 2 IG accounts, and one is a Get Fit account, and one is my regular. Do I need to change my one that is regular since I already have one that is like with the, since I have one with the the fit on the end.
Oh, I see. Your 2 Instagrams?
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably choose to just use one, the one with the most engagement.
I've just got them both, and they're just both growing at different rates. So I post on both,
Mm-hmm.
and I have different connections with both. And I hate to close one and not, you know what I'm saying?
What if you do the follow me on this one?
I don't know if that would. I don't know if they would.